What's up, guys? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. Where did we leave off? I don't even remember. The oddball jobs, doing the shop stuff, welding up the doors. Guy came by, super happy with what was there. He knows they had to get body worked, so no issues in regards to the door welding. I got the compressor jammed back away over here with the trailer, or with the tractor. So, quick little bit on here. This is the bull hose that I've been running. It's 1-inch ID. Not the best for blasting, not the most efficient, but it's all I had that I could get when I needed it for the cost. So that was relatively pricey, but that's a 1-inch hose, which means I'm running my 1.5 or 2-inch main feed here out of the compressor down to it's 1.5 out to a reducer down to 1 inch. But when I had this hose made up, they used 3/4 fittings here too. So that's a choke point. The other side of the hose is a choke point. This is a 1-inch fitting, so that's a little bit bigger, but we're still drastically undersized. Does it work? Yes. Does it work the best? No. But new hose is not cheap. So still have a couple choke points on the pot I still want to address, but that's going to kind of progress as we take in blasting jobs. So take in blasting jobs, pay off a little bit, make a little bit of cash, keep that flow going, but I am perpetually poor because I'm less worried about keeping money in my pocket. If I have money, I spend my money on equipment and tools and stupid oddball stuff like this. Maybe a chopper project here and there, however that works. I have no intention of getting rich, but I just want to invest and grow. I'm still moderately young, I guess, in the grander scheme of things. At least I feel that way, even though not that young anymore, but I just wanted to keep pushing myself. So this is my hodgepodge collection of different hoses. We're running 1.25 hose out from the blast pot to the nozzle, and then I have a short little 1-inch whip that I can put on there if it's getting too heavy. But honestly, that 1.25 that I'm running there, not the craziest to deal with. I do really want to switch this over to electronic valving for the start-stop trigger, because this is inefficient. This bleeds off a ton of air, and honestly, it's kind of a pain in the butt to hold this dead man valve down. I don't know where that's buried. Left it on the hose. But this guy. So on the old style like this has a constant blow off of air through there. And when you pull this back, drop the rubber bit there, plugs the hole, and then it sends the sand signal to call for media. They do have electronic ones. You can run them longer lengths than the pneumatics. It's way smaller, running 1 extension cord as opposed to the twin line all the way to the pot. So I do want to upgrade that at some point, but it's not necessarily the cheapest thing in the world to start swapping out valving and upgrading that. So long-term goal, continue rebuilding this with newer parts and then upsize this. This valve, not cheap at all. I think a brand new one of those with 1.25 instead of 1 inch, it's about $800 or $900, which I don't have right now. So kind of take in work and keep reinvesting back in. But we finished up the plow job the other day. Good enough to justify buying an actual bull hose, or bull hose is the main hose that runs from the compressor to the blast pot. So what we're gonna do, let me walk you through. This compressor I picked up forever ago, but the reason I got this, that's 1.5 fitting up top, or 1.25, 1.5, I can't remember now. I had it all mapped out. I think that's 1.5 actually. 1.5 up top. I need to weld in one more bung down low, down here somewhere. And basically that's a giant tank. I'm not using it for a compressor, but moisture and sandblasting is a constant issue. So there's 2 things I really need. I need an air prep device. So like a glorified intercooler type setup, aluminum heat exchanger with a 12-volt cooling fan that we'll be rigging up somewhere along the tongue of this in a perfect world. Don't know how or when all of that's going to happen yet, but it's one thing at a time. If I wanted to set this up as efficiently as possible, I need to come up with buying equipment. I'd probably need another 10, 12 grand to invest, but I'm cheap and think I can do it my way for substantially less, but probably around 2,500 or 3 grand for an air dryer type system, another aftercooler. There's one built in on the back of the compressor, but it's still not quite enough. I need a separate one. So we will take air from the main feed out of the compressor. This will run through a heat exchanger, then run from the heat exchanger at some point to a dropout tank. This actually works very similar to these moisture filters, but on a bigger scale. So you have your inlet air come in somewhere from the bottom, come out from the top. So as air flows in at high speed, it hits the giant tank, air expands, moisture collects and drops, and then run your outlet from the top of the tank. So this is basically like a giant catch can for moisture in your air. And then it'll go from here into the last little stage. Ideally, I would have that run from there to there, well, into another series of filters, but that's another 1,200–1,500 bucks for like a Le Mans style inline series of filters. So I'm still looking, I'm always looking for used equipment and things like that too. But then it'll run from, so compressor, heat exchanger, dropout tank to a filter, or compressor to heat exchanger to moisture filter series, then to the last final moisture separator over here. Get that laid out and continue trying to chip away and get the electronic controlling that I'm trying to get. But that's how all that needs to be laid out, but I want to plumb everything essentially for 2-inch from the compressor to the blast pot. It's a 375 CFM, not a 185. So we do have the option to run more volume, even if I'm running the blast helmet off of that compressor. That should put me comfortably able to run a 5/16 or a number 6 blast nozzle. But I did splurge and took whatever I made from the plow and the doors the other day and bought some new hose. So we have 2-inch ID blast hose. I ordered this yesterday morning, which is awesome because this company from Australia just set up shop in Chicago, and the 2-inch was actually cheaper than the 1.5 inch. So originally my plan was keep everything 1.5 inch all the way through, but on the main supply from your compressor, that is the biggest portion of air. It's kind of like if you're doing your shop setup or hardline your shop. When you run that, go with 3/4 if you can get away with it if you're doing shop compressor airlines. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, you lose so much volume and storage, essentially, if you got a system that doesn't leak, unlike mine here. But 2-inch bull hose, so we got that set up. 2-inch ID, so we're going from 1 inch, that's probably not anywhere near 1 inch on the actual internal, to 2-inch ID. But now I get to build another one of these giant hoses. So we're gonna lay this out and leave it at the 50-foot length. Eventually this will all get cut and broken down. I got the fittings and the tail fittings and all that other stuff, and then hopefully my cutters are big enough to get a nice clean cut on there. But we're gonna try and get that mapped out to upgrade the blast pot. And I don't have anything big to blast or practice with. Yeah, I mean, I got all the implements and equipment that I wanna clean up, but we'll get this set up. We got a blizzard supposedly coming tomorrow. I don't know. It's Midwest. They've been calling for snow all year, and we've gotten, I don't know, 6–8 inches all year, maybe 10 tops. Nothing compared to what it was like when I was a kid. But I can't complain. It's less work. I do want to go sledding on the hill over here, though. So one good snow, I'll take it. Anyways, let me get this all unpackaged. We'll go through some of the fittings, build the hoses out. I know I did one build out video on these hoses a while back when I was setting up the blast hose. But this should, I'm very confident in this increasing my production rate of blasting. And by that I mean the compressor should be happier being able to flow enough That hose was 100% choking me out before. This should be fine, free flowing, getting to the mechanical bits that I need, and significantly increase efficiency moving forward. I won't know until I bring something over here and start blasting, which I really almost want to do. But this is new and exciting for me doing the bigger stuff, so I don't hate it as much. I have no interest in blasting in the small setup at the other shop. I will when I need to, but this stuff, I like. So that's the tentative plan for today. Let me get you guys set up and grab some tools and figure this thing out. Not quite really an unboxing, but grabbed a box cutter, started stripping some of this stuff down. Here is the fittings that we need. Yeah, I think I literally ordered all this yesterday at 7 a.m. So this was at my other shop when I got there at 3 or 4 today. 3:30 or something. Can't beat that. So we got extra rubbers for the big boy stuff. And 2 of these. Uh-oh. I'm missing. Can't put these together today. I'm missing the tails. Now I gotta double check the receipt. But that is our connection now. Substantially bigger than the 1-inchers. I'll grab those here in a little bit. Let me figure out what's going on with these tails. Unless I missed something. It might be shipped from somewhere else. Crowfoot fittings, 2-inch females, 2. We got those. Quantity sent, 0. Quantity off. Well, that's unfortunate. Back ordered. After singing all the praises. So I'll be waiting on the other bits for this. Unfortunately, that means I don't really have all that much I can do. Might be one more package coming. Bummer. That's really unfortunate. That's all I wanted to do today, was play with some hoses, but that's not gonna work. I can, do I wanna work in the blast booth? I can at least get that set up over there on the compressor side. We'll get a 2-incher set up on the pot. So we're not dead in the water, I just gotta assemble the hose. Which is okay, because this is really, really heavy and I don't feel like dealing, well, I wanted to deal with that today, but it is what it is. So let's keep going and being semi-productive, I guess. For comparison purposes, because I got another section of 1-inch here. This is a 1-inch fitting, 2-claw, 2-inch fitting, 4-claw. So you can see the difference definitely just in airflow, not even looking at the diameter of the tube, but just on the fittings themselves. So should definitely improve. I got 2-inch couplings here, which is cool, but since I only have 1.5 coming out of the compressor, I think what we're gonna do is run the 1.5 4-foot, or 4-claw, on the compressor itself. It's just easier than trying to do reducers and piping and things. So on one side of this hose, the 4-claws are gonna interchange, whether it's 1.5 or, where can I put you guys? Right there-ish, is that visible? So right now we're going from 1.5 down to a 1-inch, and you can kind of see that taper. So we're gonna put a 4-claw fitting right here for, get rid of the reducer, get rid of this bit. Straight 4-claw there. Shouldn't have any major blasting to do this week, and I'm guessing the rest of those parts should be here probably by the weekend. At least that's the hope. So I'll grab the channel locks, we'll break these pipes down. Quick and easy on this side, and then I might make a parts list for various fittings and things on the compressor so we can kind of, or on the, not compressor, but on the tank. Try and scale this up. Let me think on that bit. Let's get that other thing done first. Well, that'll work. Got that all set up and done. Holy cow. My buddy just came by with the wheels that we just finished up for the Triumph. And then set up the tires and everything for me too, but fresh, brand new spokes, brand new bearings, completely redone, cleaned up. So all I've done on this is tear them down and do the coating. It came out real nice. This is what we're doing on the tank. That white gas tank that I sent you or posted a while ago if you followed the channel. White gas tank is now getting masked off, hopefully later tonight. Pinstripe tape, like thin 1/8" tape. Run the lines on that. Don't know how much I'm gonna film doing that. I'm doing it in the living room table. We'll see. Maybe I'll turn the camera on, but probably not. It's my relax, watch some TV and lay out some lines, get that laid out. Once I have the tape lines on, I can coat the entire tank at the shop with the red base and vacuum cleaner and wipe everything else. Not gonna tape off the full tank. I don't think. I might. Gotta see how that lays out. Compressor side is done for the 4-inch connector. Now I gotta start looking over here at this and we'll kind of see. I don't know if I have all the fittings I need to swap this out yet, but let me dig a little deeper. Now it was delusions of grandeur. I was going through all my fittings of big boy stuff that I got up here. Got a ton of 1.5-inch bits, but not enough 1.25-inch in terms of revalving all of the compressor bits that I kind of want to play with now. Gonna have to really, because I need a 4-claw fitting coming off the hose, which I'm waiting on parts for. That's fine. Unfortunately, I am restricted 100% by this valve. I don't have money to upgrade it, so I'm gonna have to patch something together here with a bunch of reducers. Not ideal, not exactly what I want, but will be enough to make do and make it work. But as I'm looking at all of these valving bits, it's 1 inch here. So I got a 1-inch ball valve, 1 inch on the moisture separator. This will be kind of fixed, but I'm gonna have to put a choke point in here. So we're gonna go from 1 inch to a 2-inch. So we'll get a reducer of some sort, kind of like this. Or actually we can go 1.5 instead of doing the full part like I want to. Unfortunately, it is what it is. With the pot, with all of the configurations, this is not set up to run 2-inch straight into the pot, so there's no point in trying to make that happen. We will end up with something like this going into the moisture separator. It's not good. Removing the brass bit on the valve. Don't want that to come off. Not trying to separate that there. You know what? Maybe we'll just separate the valve. Throw a fresh 1-inch valve here, just because I already have one sitting in the bag. This will go into the controller. This will go here. So I need 2 nipples there, and then we'll do the 4-claw off the end of this. Not too bad. Definitely need to make a trip to the hardware store and grab some more pipe, but this will end up being a couple days now, unfortunately, while I wait for the fittings to make the hoses work. These things are really in here. Let's see what I can do. Power of leverage. Stainless piece of exhaust tubing of some sort. And I guess we might as well break the other one off too, since they are both getting swapped. Don't have a lot of meat grabbing this filter housing. Please don't slip. All right. It's always the best part. It takes all the strength in the world to get it going, and then it's just quick slip fit. But these are out now, so I need to grab some 1-inch pipe. We'll get that figured out tomorrow when we go to the store. Just wanted to get everything done today, and I can't. So that's it for now. Well, I thought I was done on taking things apart. I got the moisture separators broken down, so that's ready to get put back together with just fittings. I'm gonna ditch this street elbow. I don't like how much this reduces for a 1-inch thread. A straight 1-inch is much better than a 90 because these are way smaller than a 1-inch diameter when they're cut into this. But I think, I was just looking at this. When this pot lives in the blast room, I usually put it against that wall. This little 90 bit actually makes it worse because I need to run the air lines and they're so big and thick that I can't really tuck this up against the wall on this corner right behind the door with this 90'd over for the airflow. But if I go straight, move this valve here, comes straight off the side, it'll make the pot a little bit wider, but then it's skinnier when I stash it in here and it's living in the blast booth where it is most of its life. So I think what we're gonna do is ditch this, go to a straight 1-inch off of here, and then this valve will come out, and then the claw is actually gonna sit this way, which should give me a little bit more room in the confined space of the booth. On the trailer or in the field, it doesn't really matter where that sits. Ideally, compressor line runs in this side, blast line runs out that side. I think that makes a little more sense than trying to 90 this over. And I should have enough room here. Actually, did I just say screw it and switch both of those? So a little bit bigger. Again, proximity wise, I feel like they want to keep it kind of tucked in where it's inside of the wheel gap, but for me, it would actually help if this was a straight T coming out of there. So let's do that. Let's pop these air lines off. We can rotate and clock this. I don't know which parts are gonna come loose. It's the downside to doing pipe fitting stuff. But maybe we'll get lucky. Nope, I'm trying to move the whole thing. Double wrench it is. One of me, and I need to hold both of these wrenches at opposite ends. This should be fun. Nothing wants to go smoothly today. Should be able to tweak that elbow off. So now, we can hulk this guy off. And hopefully, the worst part is I'm gonna end up redoing all of this again later on. Oh, winning. It's the outer that wanted to let loose this time, so that's good. This will go back on this way. I'm not gonna fully assemble all of this yet. And I put that on backwards, didn't I? Did. This will go on here like this. At least this one they label with an arrow. Look, air. That way. I like that much better. Got plenty of hose here to run this down and through. And then the last little fitting, I gotta pull this out so I can run this reducer. And then this will be just like that. Obviously farther out past the filters, but that's where we're gonna leave it tonight, because now I'm officially out of material and I can't go any further. We'll be back tomorrow.